Hello and welcome, everybody out there in YouTube and Union Arena land. I hope you're all having a fantastic day today. Today, we are breaking out of the top 16 to go over a surprise deck that a lot of people at Dallas were talking about, piloted by one of the Rumble Rama regulars over here, Almazu. Almazu, congratulations. You managed to take Integrity Knights from SAO
Yeah.
all the way up to the top tables, and you were only outside the top 16 due to tiebreakers. Uh,
Mm.
can you explain to anyone watching this who has no idea what this deck is how it functions? How does it do anything?
Well, the best way to explain it, I will say it in one word. If you want to learn Union Arena and how to pilot a deck, this is the deck for you. This deck does basically everything you want a deck to do in Union Arena. And the way it works is thanks to the three names. You have Yu-Gi-Oh, Alice, and Kirito. Those three are literally the three characters of the series and the season that the yellow deck takes from. And each bounce out of the other to activate effect or not.
All right.
Uh,
Now,
yeah.
this is a very unique deck, and I have plenty of experience against it because, well, but I don't think there's a lot of people out there in the Union Arena land who's going to really know what it does. Can you go over what made this deck so powerful that really surprised your opponents and managed to take these wins?
Well, I'd say the most important thing is also something that I heard people say were weak, which actually was surprising to me because I feel a lot of people in Union Arena, when they read cards, they sometimes read them in a vacuum instead of the whole deck. Notably, I will take the example of this card right there, the zero cost Kirito. So many colors and decks in the games has that 0 to 1000 steps. But what makes him strong is the fact that in the whole deck, you have 12 step. It is probably the deck with the most step in the game. And
It's pretty up there, yeah.
it made it so powerful because we're right now in a meta or all of the higher decks can't push up and they will start the game between 2 or even up to 4 life less than me when I will start the game. Because whenever I play him on the front line or the back line, it's still like I set up an energy. I still have that advantage, or I'm setting up board, I'm setting up energy at the same time. And literally, those steps probably gave me games more than any of the raids, for example.
Yeah, the number one thing I always notice when I'm playing against you is I take 1 or 2 damage early game as I'm setting up my energy line, and you just casually go, "All right, I step back and smash." Yeah,
Exactly.
it's so strong. It is so strong. Now, the big scary card in this deck, a lot of people might think are the SRs. Do you think it's Yuji, Alice, or the Kirito as the big scary in the deck?
Again, coming back to what I've heard people on the when you see some tier list video on internet, sometimes people say that the Kirito has the worst, the deck lose to itself, it's hard to pilot, it's Kirito. Double attack, no matter what, no matter if you block or not, is for me the strongest keyword in that game.
Mm-hmm.
Especially right now where so many decks have that needs of a constant energy line that they can't really move. You will always be able to sneak up 1 or 2 more attack because of that double attack.
Oh yeah, it is a terrifying threat to be sure of. Now, one other thing that I do want to touch on about this deck before we get onto your matchups is you only have 35 triggers. Now, I'm one of those guys who I like decks no matter what the power is, but I like 40, like at a minimum.
Yeah, when I play other deck, I like them too, the triggers, but I decided to take that deck because those are my favorite characters in my favorite season, and I just wanted to play that. And sadly, Volume 1, you could make version with more trigger by putting like an Eldri, which is a 2/1, which become 3500 during the turn of your opponent, which is a good blocker. But sadly, he doesn't have steps, so that means you go slower in tempo, even if you get a chump blocker. And he has a draw trigger, so you could make up to 40, but you're breaking up the tempo and speed of the deck like that. So
What?
I went knowing that I was going to maybe face a lot of like in my mind I knew it was going to be Lancelot, Mustang, Asta, Todo, and Saitama, which is literally everything I almost fought. I was like, I'm going to take damage no matter what. I know my trigger won't save me for a lot of time. Damage too and everything. It's okay. I will just make sure my deck. I will lose slower than them. That was my goal.
Lose slower than them. I like that. All right. But speaking of your matchups, what did your matches look like going from round one all the way up to the final
So
incident?
So round one was Shing or Gridward, I think. It's just I
Ooh.
went so fast I'm not sure I could see the Edward. They didn't break, I just stepped so strong, especially against Shing. Again, lots of energy you need. You need to pay to raid the Mei Cheng, which is another thing I need to talk about, is so many decks and people don't realize the importance of body count on the board.
Yes.
Sometimes what I'm going to say is crazy because notably it's something I had to use for the Yu-Gi-Oh. Sometimes playing a body is stronger than just raiding it. And because when you raid a card, you're actually -1 on the board state. And with so many removal, it's not possible to keep up. So against Shing, sadly, they couldn't keep up because they have to raid the Mei, they had then to raid the Lingyao and everything. So by the time I had my double attack and my heavy hitter, he could block one, he could block two, but he only had like two or three in the board, and I could sneak up two attacks every time.
Yeah. It's the same logic behind why nobody likes the 1-2 or the 1-1 bounce a card to gain
Mm,
double energy. It's you're
exactly.
behind on board. You can't be behind
Mm,
on board in any form of an aggressive matchup.
exactly. Second was Saitama Yellow, and with the build with not Terrible Tornado. Yes, Hellish Blizzard with the Hellish Blizzard raid. And Hellish Blizzard, I'll say it, Esper Sister and Saitama Yellow is actually, I think, for me, a good matchup for Knights. Because Alice doesn't need both to kill something, she just need to be one of them, 3000 to kill the Hellish Blizzard. So
Mm.
how Alice works is that when you raid her without nothing on the board, you kill 2000. If you have one Kirito or one Yu-Gi-Oh, it's 3000. And if you have both, it's 4000. People think it's harder, but it's actually very easy to do that. But the fact that in the Saitama Yellow matchup, uh, Hellish Blizzard is at 3000 made it that she appeared, she died. She didn't have one turn to use to re-get their AP or event or whatever.
Very interesting. Yeah, I mean, 3Ks are easy to pop, sadly, in
Exactly.
this game.
Exactly.
Uh,
And that's something else. Like I said, this is like I said that, and I remember so many people fell on me for that. This is probably the best toolkit deck in the game. By that,
mm,
I mean it has everything. I could adapt to almost everything that the opponent threw. There is an impactor. I could raid Yu-Gi-Oh! If I need to pop something, I had the Alice. If I needed to rush, I had the Kirito double attack. I have the step. I have every keyword except double block and damage too. So I could function rush early, switch to mid range, and then switch to to late game if needed. My third opponent was sadly my wife, who play Sao Goddess.
aw.
The, that was the one match I wanted to lose, genuinely. Uh, but that's the thing. When you play so much with someone, it became easier to just know their habits and everything. So sadly, she surprisingly she's probably the one that made it the hardest for me because she also knew how I played the deck. But I managed to go through. My fourth matchup. My fourth matchup. I don't want to say something wrong. Uh, fourth. Fourth must have been against Joichi, the 11th Mustang,
Oh, okay.
which again extremely close. It ended up to the last life. Mustang is probably the hardest matchup for Knights for now. It's not Lancelot. Lancelot is actually very manageable. It's Mustang because you need to be ready to directly take out Mustang the moment he arrives, which means I have to set up my board in a way that I know when he will appear and attack, something will die. So something that I also learned to do for with that deck is I will 90% of the time have double the names. For example, I will always have two UGOs. I will always have two Kiratos. I will always have two Alice on board or at least one in my hand to make sure that if something get pop, if there is a special, I can still bounce back and have them together.
Mm,
Notably, something I will tell you, in the whole tournament, I probably raided the UGO 3 times maximum.
mm.
I
Vanilla?
often I often played him vanilla on my energy line, which again, that whole concept of having bodies is better than raiding in a lot of those matchups because it allows me to just push up the 500 and have a free block no matter what. Instead of raiding him, congrats, I have nullify impact, but I'm -1 on board, and if I have to block a 4000, well, I can't anymore.
Right, right.
Especially considering that I know I'm going to be behind in life, because like I said, my goal is to lose slower than the opponent. I know my trigger aren't going to save me, so I have to always be like planning my board like a chess. Like I have to get those three names always together. So Yu-Gi-Oh! Raid Vanilla it was actually very good because it gave me the 500 to kill as a blocker. I and during my search, I often prioritized a second name over what should be the obvious. For example, the Yu-Gi-Oh! 2-1, he allows to search a Kirito or Alice. Sometimes a lot of people will be like, okay, I'm going to get the raid, like for example the raid Alice or the Kirito 4-2, but sometimes that's not the play. Sometimes it's just taking the 3-1, step Alice, double energy, because yes, she won't pop something like the raid Alice, but she becomes 4K during my turn. She's a step, so she allows me to again modify my board states at wish
Mm.
and keep going with that war of I need my bodies, I need to keep the number advantage.
Oh, that is very interesting. So, as a fellow 4K spam deck enjoyer, I love Metal Bat. Yeah,
Yeah, I
I
saw that.
that is something I agree with. Is a lot of the times it's worth it just to vanilla the 4K to expand on board than it is to actually raid. Because then when your opponent inevitably retaliates in these decks that all have 8 to 12 removal in it, you just okay. I go down one card, not I go down two cards. It's
Exactly.
often much better for you. But what about fifth round?
Fifth round was Red Asta.
Oh,
Red
that's a
Asta,
rough
which is
one.
it is, but it's actually one that I managed to make the person scoop slash checkmate. It was a lovely person. It was probably the most fun match I had. We were talking, we were having fun. It was great. So again, if they're watching, thank you for that match. It was great. And it was a very rough match. And again, that's where I think the double energy Asta will help a lot. Is that whole constant body war that I managed to win because they want to raid nonstop. That's the thing with Asta. You get to negate the energy. I mean, negate the ability, which is very strong against my deck because that means my Kirito can lose the double attack. That means Yuju can lose his negate impact. That means that Alice or all of my stepper can't step until the start of his turn.
Yep.
That's a lot of time that can be very strong against my deck. But like we talked about, you need to raid for that. You need to have so many raid targets. For one character, just for Asta, you need like 8. Like you have 8 raid Asta, that means you need double almost the raid targets, which sometimes you can't keep up with the energy you need to play alongside the number of body that you go in front. Especially with how my deck, if early on I managed to find them, the number of steps and early attacks or double attack I can get can be very tiring for them.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing us to get a power boost. I think that becomes legal in October, correct?
Yes, it become legal literally when the tournament pack are officially available for everyone. I know some shop got them early, but the moment everyone get them, which is like the first week of October, should be when
Oh, that's gonna be a lot of
it's
fun. A
legal.
lot of Asta popping up. So
Yeah,
moving along, your sixth round.
my sixth round. My sixth round was Renji Rush.
Ooh, was that one of the two top seats?
I am not sure. It wasn't Jane, that's for sure. Maybe the second. Maybe it was the second one.
Tony.
Maybe. Maybe I will need to check after. I don't think so, but it was a Renji Rush, and again, it's one of those decks where that's going to be crazy. What I'm going to say, because of how average my deck is, there is not a lot of matchup where I'm like it's unwinnable. That's average doesn't mean it's bad. It just mean you're just okay at everything, and that's the issue. I mean, one of the good point and one of the weakness. You're just okay at everything. So there was never a matchup where I was like, I am going to lose, or this is going to be annoying. So Renji Rush was again sort of the same. And once again, we went to the same issue. Because of the high cost of the of playing Renji Rush with the AP and everything, means that I automatically won the body count extremely fast. Yes, he had his Renji that could do damage too, but literally he scooped at the end when he had no more AP to play his Ichigo that could have popped something on my field and probably gave him the win.
Oh. Yeah, running out of APs hurt sometimes, but that's
Exactly.
piloting your turn and also, seeing what you need when you need it. That's part of the game. Rush decks fail when they can't draw enough cards.
Exactly, but it genuinely felt I genuinely felt bad because he played his energy and he was like, right, he cost 5, like the Ichigo cost 5 to pop something, and but it again super fun match, great opponent. And then my next round was against Lancelot, the third Lancelot, which was quite a match. It was actually intense. We had people coming around to watch it, and it ended last turn, last draw. He got it. Lancelot as a matchup for knights is not as terrible, notably again for that whole body count on board, because as the game will go on, you will start to realize that their only way to overwhelm you will be to pop using the Lancelot 8.
Mhm.
That's going to be the only thing that's going to take over how much you can swarm and attack will be that Lancelot 8. And if he doesn't find them, because Lancelot is a deck that I feel is amazing, but I also have key weakness, notably Gulster for me is a weakness, because search 7 and send your Lancelot on the bottom and it's over.
Yeah, if you
The
can't
game,
pick up them, you're kind of screwing yourself.
it's over. Don't find your Lancelot quick, it's over. And that's where the game went back and forth, is because he managed to get the damage, some damage too. I managed to kill them with my Alice. He managed to. It was really such a close game, such an amazing game. And it ends up last turn, my board is filled, and he managed to draw the second Lancelot 8, summon him, pop 2, and it was over. But he congratulated me. He said it was very rough, and if he didn't draw the out, I would have gotten it. And congratulations for him to the third place. I'm glad you did it. Good job. Then comes the Reaper, the famous Reaper.
Yeah, everyone's talked about this one.
I was against. Now I think I was. I don't say anything bad. I don't think I was against a Saitama Yellow again. Oh, and he bricked and turned 4. I was done. I was going to deal the last attack when they say, "Oh yeah, by the way, sorry, we have a mistake. Reaper."
Oh no.
Turn 4, it was going to be over for me. I was like, "Oh yeah, that was fine."
Oh,
And then we're
4K
like, "Oh yeah."
spam decks do so good into Saitama. Just so good. I block.
It
Just
I did I didn't. It wasn't even that he bricked so bad. It was just
oh.
my. I had 2 of them and 2 of the Alice one step on the front, just
Mm.
attacking, attacking, attacking. And oh well, that's going to be it. And then they said what they said. I understand why they did that. They explained to us it was for the integrity of the tournament person who was about to. Because if they didn't do that, one person would have gotten top 30 through because someone did a wrongly result. So in the end, they did what they had to do, but it's still annoying the way they handled it, because you'd think with the amount of time we had between rounds, they would make sure that every result was right. But it's okay. It happens. Just a shame that because it happened at Bandai Card Fest, which already was not the best, to be polite. It just piled on after like a few hours of tournament.
Yeah, yeah.
And then came my last round, which was Todo. Another matchup I expected that I got to train so many times on my local and at Rebel Rama. And again, it's one of the matchup I have no issue with most of the time because of those steps. It's a matchup where Knights does extremely good. I am going to accept the damage too. Go ahead, throw me that 6,000 damage too with Todo. I won't care. My life won't save me, but I'm pretty sure you already be like down 3 life when you start doing that.
I take two.
Exactly. So, and there is only one target that he will want to move. Take a guess who it is on my deck. The one target he will try to switch up. It's going to be the
Uh,
tease.
Kirito.
No, the tease. The tease, the 2-1. Yes, her.
Oh, that one. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The
I
issue is
always
by
forget
doing.
this card exists in your deck.
Yeah. I can't wait for Volume 2 so they can go out.
Yeah.
But that's the obvious target that they always take. And every time they do that, I'm happy because it just gives me a body to kill. It gives me a defensive option. Because again, energy is rarely an issue with my deck. I have lots of double energy. I have enough of everything else. So if they switch with that, it's generally I'm like, okay, thank you. I'm able to block something. You're welcome. So, but I genuinely felt bad for the gentleman because after looking at the result and where he was, if he beat me, thanks to his percentage, would have been I think like top 8. So I genuinely feel bad for him and the way the repair destroyed him, and he felt he genuinely felt bad all the way through the match. And still, if you're watching this, you did amazing, and don't feel bad for that.
Yes, of course. I mean, at the end of the day, it is a game. It's
Mm,
things like this do happen. TOs do their best majority of the
mhm.
time to make the events as great as possible. And I love dogging on major corporations. Like that's one of my favorite hobbies in the world. But I will say Bandai did what they could for this event with the group that they had organizing it. And it
Yeah.
is a learning curve and a learning experience for any organizer to start doing live streams for multiple events all simultaneously.
Mm,
Hopefully, in the next coming events, LA and stuff, it'll be much better experience overall. And they learned a lot of things to make sure that they can, you know, have a larger gap between the last round so they can be sure everything is done before you go oopsies repairing. That would
exactly.
be an amazing feature. And I think that they're smart enough to pull that off as well. But
I hope so.
speaking of other events, since you live across the world from NA, I believe you're probably not heading out to LA.
Uh, so I live in North Carolina now with my
Oh,
wife.
never
So
mind. Maybe.
yeah, I'm from France, where the game is sadly not available in Europe, probably
Hmm.
for rights issues because every anime probably has different rights with every country, so it's going to be a mess. So understandable.
Yeah, yeah. Gambling and all that.
Yeah, and I won't go to LA. I won't do the Canada one, but I'm pretty sure I will go to the Orlando one.
Oh, nice. So, if you're not going to LA, you don't mind dropping your insight then. What decks do you think people should be practicing against for the LA one? Keep in mind that is when Kenshin and Hunter x Hunter V2 are legal. What do you think some upsetting uh, preparations people need to be ready for?
Well, Kenshin is the deck that obviously everyone who plays meta will switch off without thinking twice, but it's also, I think, going to be the downfall because it looks simple, but it's an extremely hard to pilot deck.
Yes.
I think people are just it. People look at Kenshin, they're like, "Oh yeah, it's an Ooga Boonga deck," but no, it's a very resource-intensive deck. A lot of mind game, notably knowing that if you attack, they will block. They go back to energy line, so sometimes you will just not attack, knowing when to block because if you block, you die, but they don't.
Yeah.
So I think people are going to be surprised by how many Kenshin there will be, but I'm pretty sure Kenshin will top. That's something I'm pretty sure everyone can like bet and be like, yeah, sure, that's going to happen.
Yeah. Minimum of 3 in the top 16, I think. That's where I'm at.
But it's not a deck that's as easy as pilot as you think. Just like I said, I don't think it's going to be like the the best deck in format killer of every meta. For me, like I said it many times, it's going to be an equalizer in our meta because
Yes.
it counters so much of the top tier we have, but gives out option for lower tier to shine. Like I said, Esau Blue, the Kamado sibling from Demon Slayer Yellow, they have a real chance against Kenshin Red. In Japan,
Oh,
it was
switch
harder.
decks. Yeah.
Yeah, it will be harder for them to shine when it was in Japan because other stronger decks still exist to gatekeep them that we don't have here. So knowing that Kenshin can be like that, I can do it. Step can be something they to prepare for.
Mm.
Uh, I expect a lot of. I think we'll see Hunter x Hunter. Notably, I think the Kurapika people will take it back because it got a few buff. People were going to take it back. A lot
It
of
got
people love Hunter x
triggers.
Hunter. They got triggers. So Kurapika is something people should at least revisit to be like, okay, that card does what, and not be too surprised. The purple Hunter x Hunter could do something good. I think it's not bad at all. It's really not bad. But the meta otherwise will be unchanged. Just I think we're going to enter in a sort of weird era because we're going to have so much new IP product releasing next after next that a lot of things is just going to be what deck counter what deck at the end. It's just going to be a infinite rock paper scissors, and it's going to be hard to really guess what's going to be good right now.
Okay. And if you can find that shotgun that beats rock, paper, and scissors, well, you'll be doing very, very well in our meta.
Exactly, but something else I want to tell people now that we're recording,
Mhm.
don't feel forced to play meta for Union Arena. At the end of the day, thanks to the way the game is designed, a lot of things sadly go through luck. I wish I could say that my trigger saved me during the tournament. 35, it didn't. I think in the whole tournament, I had like one color for two special.
Mhm.
The rest were like dead, mostly dead trigger. And really, if you feel like if you see on a tier list that you're like I saw that sometimes people put it like at the bottom of the tier list, don't feel pressure to just be like, I'm going to play the next meta thing. Play the deck you're comfortable with, the deck you love. Feel the deck that you believe in, most importantly. Because at
Yes.
the end of the day, we're just people on the internet giving our opinions, and we can sometimes be wrong. I'm pretty sure if yesterday I told you if before the tournament, yeah, Integrity will be top 24, no one would have
I would have
believed it.
laughed. I would have laughed. I would have
Yes,
hoped, but I would have laughed.
Exactly. Sorry, just play what you want. The community was amazing. Everyone cheered on me on once they knew what I was playing. Everyone, even my previous opponent, came to see me. How did you do? How far did you get? Oh, you might do it. Oh, you might do it. And that's what made me think that yeah, I made the right choice with that deck. People were happy to see me play that deck and what I loved most over what was meta. And it
Yeah.
was amazing to see. And again, for everyone who was there and cheered me on, thank you.
Yes. Thank you all very much. Before we go, do you want to shout out an LGS near you that people like to play at? Get some more people
I
looking at it?
I will. If you are in North Carolina in the Durham Raleigh region, we have Union Arena tournament at Animazed. We have amazing people there. If you want to play, do the release event, we'll teach you. If you want to start, we'll teach you. We'll help you no matter what. And really, that's how I started. Fun fact, I don't know if you remember, I was one of the first match I ever played against on Union Arena. On Rumble Rama, it was you, Joey.
Really?
Yes, I was with my half-baked, like double starter deck SAO Blue, and you cooked me with Metal Bat.
Yes, Metal Bat. And then we
And
learned.
and yeah, and this community is amazing. So you guys, if you can find, support your local game shop because when I started in mine, they were only 3 people. Then I joined 4, and nowadays we're like 8 to 12, which is double in like a few months, which doesn't seem like a lot, but it helps every IP try to join, try to look out for your shops and help them. It's how the community will grow.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for taking the time to do this. Thank you,
Thanks
everybody,
to you.
for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.
Bye bye.